It works on a receptor, which is called the GABA receptor. GABA usually keeps a sense of calmness. It has sedative properties. It has muscle relaxant properties. You feel the good feeling in that way. One may feel the effects for approximately, I would say, 3 to 4 hours. And then one may need to repeat it at that time to get the effect again. And it lasts in your system approximately 8 hours or so. So it washes out pretty quickly. Benzodiazepines, including Xanax, can cause cognitive problems. Over a period of months to years, people can have memory problems. You become psychologically and physically addicted to the medication. If you don't take it, you can develop severe withdrawal. You will become restless. You will become irritable. You will become edgy. You won't be able to sleep. You may start to have gastric problems. You may feel sweaty. You start to lose all of the positive effects of the medication. And because it has a short half-life, you need to increase it and you need to take it more frequently.
Hey there! Welcome to Life Noggin. Xanax is one of the most prescribed psychiatric medications in the United States. It's the brand name for alprazolam, a drug used to manage anxiety and panic disorders. It has also been used to treat depression, PMS, and chronic pain. When used as prescribed, it can be very beneficial. However, because of its calming effects, it is often misused to achieve a tranquil high. And taking more than the prescribed dose, taking it more frequently, or taking it with other drugs or alcohol can be fatal. In just the first half of 2008, this class of drugs accounted for the second highest amount of overdose deaths in the state of Florida. Of these 392 deaths, Xanax was responsible for nearly 300 of them. The number of people admitted to addiction treatment facilities in the US for Xanax use has rapidly increased. From 2006 to 2012, this number went from around 5,000 to about 29,500. And according to the 2013 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, the abuse rate in those between the ages of 18 and 25 is nearly twice as high compared to people over 26. Xanax is a member of a group of medications called benzodiazepines. These drugs affect the central nervous system, the brain and the nerves, to decrease abnormal excitement in the brain and create a calming effect. They do this by increasing the activity of a chemical called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, that inhibits brain activity. This creates less of a restraint on the brain's dopamine producers, resulting in more dopamine, which controls the reward and pleasure centers in the brain. This creates increased feelings of pleasure and decreased feelings of panic or anxiety. There are many potential side effects of this medication, ranging from headaches, drowsiness, and nausea to more serious ones like hallucinations, loss of coordination, and suicidal thoughts. Prolonged use can lead to dependence, and if stopped abruptly, patients can experience withdrawal or seizures. Dependence occurs when your body builds up a tolerance for the effects of the drug, requiring a larger dose or an increased frequency of use to achieve the same effect it had when you started taking it. This can develop into a physical dependency where your body doesn't function properly without it. Dependence can often lead to addiction or substance use disorder, which is generally defined as compulsive drug use despite the harmful consequences. If you think you have an addiction, contact a treatment expert immediately. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration provides a free referral helpline that can connect you with treatment centers, support groups, and community organizers. Be safe and consult a doctor before taking any medication. This topic was highly requested by you guys, so if you have any other drug that you want us to talk about, let us know in the comment section below. Curious to know the effects of Adderall on the human body? Check out this video. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, taking prescription stimulants for reasons outside of treating ADHD or narcolepsy could lead to negative effects on your health, like heart problems or psychosis.
In Australia, in the past year, there has been a Xanax explosion, prescribed more than 1 million times by family doctors, and that's not counting the growing black market. And that's frightening because what so many don't realise is that Xanax is more addictive than heroin, and ordinary Australians are suffering extraordinary side effects. This story was brought to our attention by Dr. Tanveer Ahmed, one of Australia's leading psychiatrists. Danielle Hannon was a striking Sydney socialite, a fashion model who spoke 3 languages. 10 years ago, a doctor prescribed Xanax for her anxiety. Look what it's done to her.
Well, I get up in the morning and if I haven't taken even half, I'll be hallucinating. And so that's why it's so important. So I've got to take one now. It's not a horrible taste. When I first took it, it gave me the most incredible feeling of just numbness in my brain, pushed past the horrible, horrible past behind me.
Danielle is now 47 and a Xanax addict. She spends her days in her little flat with her partner Charlie.
Hi, Dr. Dante. How are you?
She's been Dr. Tanveer Ahmed's patient for close to 4 years, and truth be told, he's struggled to help.
Now, I understand you've tried to come off it before, haven't you?
Yes. It was the worst thing I've ever been through.
Tell me about it.
I went completely mad.
I want to get the word out there that, you know, you can have everything that you worked hard for in your life, and you can lose it in a second. Xanax took my life. It took my life, and, you know, doctors want to give it so easily, and it's so dangerous.
Nicole Shellard was a model mum, an occupational therapist from a wealthy family.
Nicole, thank you so much for doing the interview. My name's Tanveer. I've come all the way from Australia. I think you're being very courageous. Come and sit down.
Thank you very much.
Now she's a model prisoner, unable to explain to her children how the blackouts caused by Xanax destroyed her life and left a stranger dead.
I think it's really hard for them to just understand what happened to their mom, who was doing really good, who was functioning, to my mom's in jail now because she killed someone with her car.
Xanax is the most potent anti-anxiety drug on the market, a powerful version of Valium that works fast. What concerns Tanveer Ahmed is how powerfully addictive Xanax is.
When I started practicing medicine a decade ago, Xanax was virtually unknown. Now, it's the most popular pill of its kind. More than 1 million prescriptions were written last year in Australia. That's a quadrupling in 10 years. And that's what concerns me, scares me, that so many people have no idea that this little pill is more addictive than heroin.
We know Heath Ledger had Xanax in his system. We know Michael Jackson had Xanax in his system. And, of course, Whitney Houston. They're desperate. They've tried this drug. They tried that drug. And in the benzos, the sedatives, that whole group of drugs, the most potent available drug is Xanax.
Dr. Peter Breggin is an American psychiatrist who has been warning about the dangers of Xanax since it was first approved for use in the US.
Over 20 years ago, you thought Xanax should be taken off the market.
If it had been taken off the market, we'd probably have 1 million or more people alive who are dead now.
Does it even work for what it's meant to work for, anxiety?
It will work if you take one once in a while to dampen your emotions. It works by disabling your brain. You will get some effect of reducing your anxiety. But there's a lot of problems with it. The more you take it, the more the brain's fighting back, and the more you're creating anxiety. So in the studies that we used for FDA approval for Xanax, by 8 weeks, the patients were worse. They were in serious withdrawal. Up to 1/3 of them couldn't even get off the drug. After 8 weeks, they couldn't get off the drug. That's how addictive it is.
I always knew I was bright when I was in school, and I could have pretty much been anything I wanted to be.
Daniel Politi hasn't had a Xanax tablet since yesterday.
Yeah, sort of in a half mini attack now. My heart's all racing away, so.
In 1992, Daniel was one of the first Australians prescribed Xanax. he was 14. The anxiety he's experiencing is a symptom of Xanax withdrawal.
It's a mental thing, really, I suppose. Yeah, I don't even need to have one, but if I know the bottle's in my pocket, yeah, anxiety's not as bad.
Doctors first gave him the tablets to control panic attacks, but Daniel quickly became addicted.
It's a nasty sort of like illness to have. Yeah. I sort of do something. They freak out.
Eventually, it becomes too much, and after 24 hours without Xanax, Daniel reaches for a tablet, a sign of his addiction.
What was it like when you didn't get
The tablets?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just a nightmare.
Daniel was married and had a solid job with Telstra. He lost it all when he couldn't kick Xanax and the feeling the tablets gave him.
They relax me, like 15, 20 minutes, and I can think clearer. It stops, the anxiety shaking.
What permanent damage can Xanax cause on our brains?
We're getting more and more evidence that long-term you get dementia. And this should be no shock. You can't impair cognitive functions day after day after day after day after day and expect the brain to not get worse and worse. So not only are you losing cognitive function, people are losing periods of time. They don't remember going to their daughter's wedding. They don't remember the vacation they took with family. They start to lose their sense of identity for a period of years that they've been on Xanax. It's just bad news.
The health of this nation is under attack from many different directions. And we're not even talking about health. We're talking about freedom. Yeah. Because when you lose your health, you are no longer free.
New York's Long Island is a community in crisis. Behind the gleaming facade is a prescription drug problem of frightening proportions.
People look at your life and they think you have everything because you live in this beautiful area. You have maids, you have Mercedes, you have BMWs, you have money, you have no problems. And inside that home was so many problems.
Nicole Shellard was an anxious teenager from a wealthy family. She had a master's degree, a career, and 2 young boys. But when her marriage began to crumble, so did she. Her doctor prescribed Xanax.
And I thought that it was helping me and it was just hurting me.
On a spring afternoon in May 2010, Nicole was driving. She'd taken several Xanax, and one of its side effects is blackouts.
I remember getting in my car, putting my seatbelt on, and I don't remember anything after that.
Riding her bike along the same stretch of road was a popular local hairdresser, Catherine Underwood. Against the force of Nicole Shellard's car, Catherine didn't stand a chance. Nicole doesn't remember a thing.
When did you realise the full extent of what happened?
It was my first morning in jail, and the inmates threw the paper in my cell. And they said, how do you feel that you killed somebody? And I was in 23-and-a-half-hour lockdown in a cell. And I was staring at my picture and this woman's picture. And I was in total and complete shock.
Nicole was convicted of manslaughter. Her case became a lightning rod for a community struggling with the dark side of Xanax abuse.
As of recently, it's become somewhat questionable coming to work. The question being, will I come home at night?
Don Cantilino is a well-known local pharmacist. In the past 6 months, colleagues, customers and a policeman have all been shot dead in pharmacies by addicts.
I now carry a weapon, and I never thought I'd get to that point.
You carry a gun?
I carry a gun. It's not something I ever wanted to do, but it is what this situation has pushed me to. And my theory is I'd rather be judged by 12 jurors than carried by 6 pallbearers.
All of these prescriptions have been forged, and we have made copies of them.
Across Long Island, chemists are installing elaborate security. On the black market, a single Xanax tablet is worth up to $100. To put that in perspective, a bottle of generic Xanax that costs a chemist $30 is worth $30,000 on the street.
Another aspect to this is organized crime has infiltrated the scenario. We have complete shipments of drugs from manufacturers en route to wholesalers being stolen.
It's pretty big right now, coming out in the western suburbs. Because I think what people are doing, they're trying to chase heroin, and they can't get that, so they get the Xanax to blitz it off out.
You push me. You push me.
Dr. Tanvir Ahmed believes it's time the federal government acted. It's time Xanax was made harder to get.
What's your advice to the Australian government regarding Xanax?
Oh, be the first government to ban the drug. Be the first government to take a stand on this horrendous drug. And at the least, give out warnings that it causes violence and suicide and depression. And if you take it more than 2 or 3 weeks, you're heading for serious trouble. But I think it's a drug that doctors shouldn't give out.
And Pfizer, the makers of Xanax, have provided a statement which is on our website. They stand by the drug for short-term treatment of anxiety. Also on our website, you'll find links to helplines for people concerned about drug addiction.